The story of Lucent Arrowhead takes place some time after the events of Originium Dust. Ella and Iana, along with Fuze and Dog, arrive at Magnet Hill number 2 to search for the missing Ash squad. Not wanting to make the same mistakes in Originium Dust, Ella suggests they rendezvous at Levi's lab. They arrive at the location of Levi's lab, but it's not there. As they ponder on why the lab disappeared, an earthquake occurs and they find cover. Suddenly, a bright light flashes them and they disappear from the cave. Switching to dossoles, some Bolivarian soldiers are complaining while taking the only stairs of an art gallery. Their goal is to reach the office of a Kazimierzian art dealer, Reynald, and force him to sign a land transfer agreement. In Reynald's office, Reynald dismisses some letters and invites his secretary, Miłos, to admire his golf ball tower. Just as he invites Miłos to finish his masterpiece, he sees some shadows beneath the office door gap. Before he could react, the door was kicked down and a bunch of Bolivarian soldiers barged into the office. Just as they were about to kidnap them, Ella's squad crashes through the ceiling. Before Ella can analyze the situation, Ella barely dodges an arrow from the soldiers. They quickly devise a plan. Iana and Dog protect the non-combatants, while Ella and Fuse defend them. Although Ella's squad are outnumbered, with their experience and cooperation, along with Ella's girls' mod minds, they easily take down the Bolivarian soldiers, forcing them to retreat. After the fight, Ella's squad gaze upon the balcony and try to figure out where they are. Ella asks Reynald where exactly they are and soon confirm that they are no longer on planet Earth, but Terra. Reynald is grateful to Ella's squad for saving his life and offers to hire them as his bodyguards. Ella agrees. Milos then rushes them to HR before it closes for the day. On the other side, we see a Duran called Techno running away from Reynald's guards after getting caught vandalizing the art gallery. Techno returns to a community of street artists and meets her adoptive father, Diaz. Ever since Reynald came to dossoles, the community's art exhibitions and performances have been blocked. Techno got furious when she was informed that the art gallery was going to open on the same day as their arts festival. However, Diaz told them to focus on themselves first. We switch to a conversation between the Capitan, Mateo, and one of his officers. The officer reports the failed mission to Mateo, but Mateo doesn't punish him. Instead, he tells the officer and his men to have some fun in the casino while looking for potential intel. Not long after, Mateo meets with Mios. From here, we know that Mateo's trying to take the development rights of Diaz's community from Reynald and turn it into an entertainment district for the coalition government. Mios says that Reynald doesn't want to fight Mateo over the rights of the land. He says that Reynald is unable to suppress the fierce infected gangs in the community and wants Mateo to deal with the problem. In exchange, Reynald will give the land rights to Mateo. Shifting to Ella and Reynald. Ella is doing her job as Reynald's bodyguard, and Fuse is training Reynald's guards, while Iana and Doc continue their search for Ash Squad. Reynald takes Ella for bungee jumping. It was fun at first, but just as they are close to the water surface, Reynald unlocked his harness, which scared the shit out of Ella. After dragging Reynald to the shore, she decides to quit her job, for she cannot protect a man who plays jokes with his life. Some time later, Mios returns and tells Reynald that Mateo has taken their bait. Ella and Fuse return to them. Their resignation was unsuccessful, as HR wasn't open today. Before leaving, Ella tells Reynald that one of the sculptures was counterfeit, which piqued Reynald's interest. That counterfeit was actually Reynald's work. Seeing a bodyguard who's interested in art, Reynald changes his mind and tries to convince Ella to stay, promising Ella that he'll be more careful. Ella hopes Reynald can keep his promise. Switching to Rhode Island, Tequila and Catapult are delivering Oripuffy suppressants to dossoles for the art community. However, this news has reached Mateo's ears. Mateo took the opportunity to deal with the infected in the community while pinning the blame onto Ella's squad. He ordered his men to mimic their tactics and ambush the delivery vehicle. Under suppressive fire, the duo have no choice but to abandon the vehicle. While Iana and Doc were searching for directions to go to the art festival, they were blackmailed by a street photographer. Just as they were about to delete the photos by force, the guy got on his motorbike and sped away, while Iana and Doc give chase. The photographer turns into an alley. Iana and Doc are unable to catch up due to Techno and her spray cans blocking the small alley. Suddenly, Techno's Oripuffy flares up and she collapses. Doc rushes to help her. Initially, Doc deduces that the spray can's contents knocked her out. Techno tells him to inject her with the Oripuffy suppressant in her pocket, which saves her life. It was the last suppressant she had. Techno is shocked that Iana and Doc aren't afraid of her being an infected. Doc and Iana took Techno back to the community. A community resident, who is a massage therapist, wanted to thank the duo by giving them a free massage. Although the duo reject, she uses her arts to massage them remotely. Iana and Doc enjoyed the massage. Meanwhile, Tequila delivers the bad news to Diaz. After the speculation between the two, Diaz quickly confirms that those are Reynald's mercs. They watch the commotion outside. Diaz recognizes Iana and Doc as Reynald's bodyguards. Diaz immediately ordered the residents to catch the duo. With the help of Gemini Replicate, Iana and Doc successfully retreat to an alley. The duo contacts Ella and confirms that it wasn't Reynald's men who robbed the medicine. While they are trying to figure a way out, they coincidentally meet Techno. Techno believes that Iana and Doc aren't responsible for the robbery, considering they don't even know what Oripuffy is, and were very kind to her. She pointed the safe way out of the community for Iana and Doc and left. Back to Mateo. He's currently thinking of a way to dispose the meds. They can't sell it to the black market, since Tequila, a candidate to succeed the mayor, was the one who delivered the meds. They'll be exposed if they do so. Mateo decides to store the meds in one of Reynald's warehouses. Meanwhile, Tequila has obtained a record of unusual cargo traffic movements, with evidence pointing towards Reynald's warehouse. At the same time, Ella's squad were tasked to investigate a suspicious delivery at an inactive warehouse by Niwas. Techno knocks out the only watchman in the warehouse and turns off the lights, while Tequila and Catapult infiltrate the warehouse. The two sides eventually confront each other in the dark. They are unable to clear the misunderstanding between them, and just as they were about to come to blows, the driver arrives. Both sides decide to ask the driver. After clearing the misunderstanding between them, Ella's squad distributes the suppressants to the infected in the art community. Sometime later, Ella bids farewell to Reynald, because the squad will be moving to the art community. We don't see a flashback. The squad were enjoying the artworks of the art community. Techno also revealed two big mannequin puppets to them, which were supposed to dance when the art festival starts. Ria still doesn't trust the squad and prohibits them from participating in the festival. But after Techno profusely begged him, he finally caves in. Ever since Diaz saved Techno from a fire, he treated her like his daughter. He warns Ella that if they betray Techno's trust, he will make them pay. Meanwhile, Doc is helping out the community residents with medical treatment in a clinic. Tequila sends a messenger to deliver a letter to Rhode Island, hoping that the recipients are the ones they have been searching for. Techno describes the deadly hall fire that happened years ago. The fire had left the residents scarred. Thus, Techno designed the mannequins to represent their desire. Suddenly, the installation of the puppet stopped because one of its arms got tangled with its cables. Since the only technician was too scared to fix it, Techno had no choice but to fix it herself. However, Techno only designed the outlook of the puppets, so she couldn't identify the problem. Ella requested Iana and Fuze to hold back Diaz, who was supervising them, while she heads to the 8th floor and swings towards Techno when the coast clear. Ella identifies the problem and starts fixing the puppets. Soon after, the puppets' hands start moving again. Ella's squad have finally gained Diaz's trust. The rehearsal begins. The community and all of dossoles watched as the puppets gracefully danced. Reporters came to the community to interview them. From there, we know that the reason why they're unwilling to change the festival's date was because it was the same day the fire happened. On the flip side, Reina bought a music box made by a famous designer at a high price and hired a restorationist to restore it. We learned that the famous designer is Reina's mother, and the music box was meant to be a birthday gift for Reina. However, Reina's father put it up for auction to make a profit. First, he wanted to open the art gallery on his mother's death anniversary to commemorate her. The next day, Mivos calls Ella back to the gallery. He requests her to convince the community to delay the art festival, for the gallery's opening will overshadow any other exhibitions. Knowing the significance of this date, Ella refuses. After some time, Mivos returns to Reina and informs him that the explosives have been planted somewhere and that tomorrow will be a significant day. They get a call from the Capitan, but Reina just ignores it. Switching to the Capitan, his superior is losing his patience and puts Mateo under pressure. Mateo knows that obtaining just the land will no longer satisfy his superior, but something else. Back with Tequila, he is investigating the traces of smuggled originium explosives. He speculates that those explosives have been disguised as artwork and shipped to Reina's art gallery. Knowing the danger of this mission, he decides not to inform Catapult and solve it by himself. At night, coalition forces surround the community, using fire inspection as an excuse to raid and destroy the residents' homes. Diaz assigns Techno to bring the residents to the nearby Rhodes Island office for safety, while he and his men will confront the soldiers. The soldiers saw the puppets and identified it as a fire hazard, destroying it beyond recognition. At the same time, Techno is worried about Diaz's safety. Ella and her squad go back to the neighborhood with Techno. They enter the main control room through the vents. Seeing nobody's here, Techno asks Doc to look for a storage device, which had everyone's design documents. They couldn't find it because the storage device was taken by the commanding officer. We get to know Mateo's plan here, to provoke the residents and draw their fury towards the art gallery. Next, Techno jumps off the building and snatches the storage device. She tries to fight back with her arts, but the coalition soldiers suppress her. Seeing that Techno's unwilling to hand over the storage device, he repeatedly stomps Techno's hand. Just as the officer was about to stomp her again, Doc aims his gun towards his head and warns them. Due to their different physiques, Ella's squad are unable to jump off the building like Techno, thus delaying them. Achieving their goals, the soldiers retreat. Next day, Ella questions Reina whether he was the one behind the attack. Although Reina doesn't defend himself, Ella knows he most likely wasn't the one behind it. Ella notices that either Mivos or Reina is able to use their arts to control a golf ball's trajectory. Mateo orders his men to look within the community and escalate their tension. Going back to the community, Doc is treating Techno's wounds. Doc implies that Techno's right hand is heavily injured and most likely cannot do precise actions again. Despair fills within the neighborhood. In the crowd, there are some fan blowers who try to further ignite their rage and convince them to destroy the gallery via violence. But it doesn't get through, as the people here are physically too weak to do it. Then, Diaz suggests they dance at Reina's gallery to protest. The crowd roars. On the other hand, when Reina ordered everyone to attend the opening ceremony, Tequila took this chance to investigate the gallery, finding a secret room filled with explosives. we finally got to know Reynolds' grand plan. He hated the fact that investors see art as nothing but merchandise, especially his father. Because of them, true artists were merely seen as suppliers. He wants to blow up the art gallery along with the priceless artwork inside and crash the art market. Soon enough, the opening ceremony begins. Reynald did not prepare a draft beforehand and instead introduces his CVAP product, which is basically Arknights NFT, to delay some time. Oh, and he also humiliated the Capitan, by the way. Meteor doesn't care. After gaining info from his subordinates that the art community is marching over here, he declares that a terrorist attack is about to happen and intimidates the participants to get inside the gallery. Soon enough, the art community arrives, but no one's there. Meteor orders his men to steal the gallery's artwork and investors' belongings, then load them on the trucks he prepared, while he and Reyna have a chat together on the balcony. Suddenly, an officer discovers the originium explosives that Reyna planted and reports it to Meteor. Not wanting to cause any panic, Meteor secretly kills the officer, shifting to road silent. Although Tequila insists the art community to stay away from the art gallery, Catapult insists on rescuing Tequila and the hostages in it, along with Ella's squad. Diaz also joins in, since he was formerly in the Singa's army, with Techno and some volunteers following them. After devising a simple plan, the operation starts. Fuze uses his cluster charges to blow up a wall. He and Catapult then take down the soldiers easily. Ella's squad and the volunteers easily break in and they take down the soldiers. Iana and Doc rescue the hostages, while Ella and the rest follow her to take out the defenders upstairs. In the meantime, Meteor's soldiers in the control room are watching a horror film about a homicidal Santa. Every man they sent to scout never came back, which is eerily similar to the film. They mistake Iana's Gemini for the Santa in the film and pass out. Soon enough, Ella and the gang meet Miwos. Miwos wants to save Reynald, so he tells them the location of the detonator nodes and the time of detonation. In exchange, they must save Reynald from Meteor. The squadron successfully disarms the 3 detonator nodes. However, as Diaz was disconnecting the second last wire in the vent shaft, he was cornered by Meteor soldiers and was kidnapped to the balcony. Diaz notifies Meteor that the bomb will detonate soon and requests Meteor to let him go, but Meteor doesn't care. He just wants a report of the current situation and leave. Switching to Ella's side, the vent shaft node short-circuited, causing a small explosion and sealing the stairs between the 5th and the 6th floor, cutting her off from the squad. Ella knows she's running out of time to save Diaz. The explosion also caught the soldiers' attention. Ella briefly tells them the situation. The soldiers initially charge downstairs to escape, but seeing that it has been sealed, they demand Ella to show them a way out through the balcony. At first, Ella plans to take them down using her mines, even if it might attract more soldiers. Suddenly, she hears a familiar voice from the wall. A grenade explodes, destroying the wall. Ash's squad have come to help. Back to Meteor. Knowing that the only way out is through Reynald's private elevator, he demands Reynald for the key, but Reynald refuses. Meteor then angrily beats Reynald with a golf club, but all Reynald does is mock him. Just as he was about to kill Reynald, Team Rainbow demolishes the painting connecting the office and the balcony, and in walks Ella, ready for battle. After dealing with Meteor, Blitz gives everyone a jetpack glider. They all jump down the balcony. Suddenly, Reynald unlocks his harness. Since his plan has been foiled, he has lost his will to live. Just then, countless golf balls form a mat under Reynald and safely land him in a pool. Reynald knows that Miwos saved him and wants to search for him, but Ella gets in the way. Reynald still thinks he is in the right, and that this imaginary turned real terrorist attack was their fault. Ella gives him a good old punch. She tells Reynald that there are people who care for him, and that Reynald shouldn't destroy other people's artwork as his form of protest and art. Things have settled down. The police will come here to detain Reynald and Meteor soon. Blitz tells Doc to imitate the doctor when they go to Rhodes Island. The squad laughs. At the same time, the art gallery has become a carnival for artists and everyone is celebrating. Sometime later, Tequila visits Reynald on behalf of the dossoles government. He tells Reynald that the government plans to deport him back to Kazimierz under the pressure of the KGCC. Reynald also has to sign an asset transfer contract. He decides to put the name of whoever passes by his cell, and the next person who walks by is Diaz. Reina keeps his promise. After that, the KGCC employees are transporting Reina back to Kazimierz, but on the way, they were ambushed by Miłos. Miłos and Reina take the vehicle and wander the lands of Terra. So yeah, I guess that's it. I'm not very well versed in the lore of Arknights, especially after Frostbite and Kaiser MLG kind of slowed down or even stopped uploading lore videos. So if there's any mistakes that I've made in the video, I apologize for that. I don't really know if I'll actually make more of these summary videos, but if you liked it, please leave a like and I'll see you on the next one.